Hi, I'm Milo Ventimiglia. I play Jack Pearson on This Is Us, and I'm going to attempt to recap seasons 1 and 2 in 12 minutes. Make sure you have an entire 2 seasons worth of tissue handy and a gallon of water to rehydrate because you'll cry all the liquid out of your entire body. So, we're introduced to this group of people who seem disconnected, but they're all celebrating their 36th birthday on the same day. There's Jack celebrating with his wife Rebecca, who's pregnant with triplets. There's the actor Kevin, who storms off the set of his sitcom The Manny, quitting for good. His twin sister Kate ends up meeting a funny guy named Toby at her weight loss support group. Then there's Randall, who finally tracks down his biological father William, who abandoned him when he was born. Now Rebecca goes into labor, and sadly one of the triplets, Kyle, dies. But Dr. Katowski, Dr. K from here on out, says a bunch of stuff about lemons and lemonade and convinces Jack to adopt an abandoned black baby in Kyle's place. That's when we realize that those 3 infant babies are actually, spoiler alert, Kevin, Kate, and Randall, and Jack and Rebecca are their parents, and we're actually watching Rebecca and Jack in 1980 while everyone else is in the present day. Got it? Good. Okay. So, Jack calls the triplets the Big Three, and the show hops back and forth between the past and the present. It's revealed that in the present, Rebecca is married to Jack's best friend, Miguel, but where's Jack, and what happened to him? We'll get to that in a minute. Hope you're patient. Randall invites his real dad, William, to stay at his house with his wife and 2 daughters, which Randall's wife, Beth, isn't crazy about. In a flashback, we learn that after William abandoned baby Randall, he tried to reconnect with his son, but Rebecca wouldn't let him, unbeknownst to Randall. Crying alert. Get some tissues. Present day, William drops the bomb that he has terminal cancer, which shakes Randall up a bit and gets William some sympathy from Beth. We flash back to the past to a day in the 80s Jack and Rebecca spent with the kids at the community pool, a full day of swimming, sunbathing, and learning about each child's unique insecurities and how they carried those into adulthood. Kate gets made fun of for her weight. Randall feels odd amongst other black kids, which Rebecca doesn't know how to handle. And Kevin almost drowns because Jack and Rebecca are busy dealing with Kate and Randall. Now, in present-day New York, Kevin bombs a theater audition, but gets the job anyway because the Manny could help sell tickets. Something you should know, the Pearsons are a big football family, specifically the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are massive fans. The Big Three were actually conceived in the bathroom during a Super Bowl. Now, when Toby tries to throw a Super Bowl party for Kate, she gets upset. Why? Well, because she associates the Super Bowl with her father, Jack, and where's Jack? Spoiler alert, he's dead. But how? It's coming. Trust me. Now, Kevin and his new co-star in the play, Olivia, crash a funeral to prepare Kevin for his role as a bereaved widower. In a flashback, we see Kevin and Randall butting heads as teenagers, and they have a strained relationship all the way until the present day. Kevin is hurt when at dinner in New York he finds out Randall never watched an episode of The Manny. Randall, what's up with that? But they get into a fight on the streets of New York about how Rebecca favored Randall when they were growing up. Oh, and thanks, Seth Meyers, for showing up for that. Back at Randall's house, Beth and William bond over pot brownies, as one does, and William lets slip that he's known Rebecca since Randall was a baby. Beth is pissed. Thanksgiving rolls around and it gets a little crazy, so brace yourselves. Beth gives Rebecca an ultimatum to tell Randall the truth about how she kept William out of his life purposefully. Now, Kate announces to Toby that she wants to take a break, saying she needs to work on her weight and her life. Randall goes to pick up some old records from William's place and finds a letter Rebecca sent to William decades ago. Spoiler alert. He realizes Rebecca lied to him all these years and he confronts her. Then Kate announces she's having gastric bypass surgery because her flight had turbulence and she thought she was going to die. All in all, probably not the craziest Pearson Thanksgiving, maybe a 6, 7. It's up there. The Big Three head up to the family cabin one last time before Rebecca sells it. Olivia, her Tool ex-boyfriend Asher, and playwright Sloan show up as well. Now, Asher brings a mushroom-laced smoothie, which Randall accidentally drinks, causing him to trip balls and see visions of his dead father, Jack, who he talks to, and Jack talks him out of his anger toward Rebecca. Kevin ends up kicking out Olivia and Asher and sleeping with Sloan. Next thing he knows, he's spending Hanukkah with Sloan's family, and he convinces her to star alongside him in the play that she wrote. Spoiler alert. William is revealed to be bisexual when we meet his partner, Jesse, who he basically ghosted when he moved in with Randall's family. On Christmas Eve, Toby shows up unannounced at Randall's house to surprise Kate and win her back, which he does. And then he has an apparent heart attack and collapses through a table. He has surgery to repair a hole in his heart afterwards. He and Kate decide to get engaged. Olivia forces Kevin to choose between her and Sloan. He chooses Sloan, but screws that up in impressively little time. Now, Kevin then decides he should be with his childhood sweetheart / ex-wife, Sophie, so he goes to her and they rekindle their romance. Meanwhile, Kate realizes gastric bypass sounds terrible and decides to go to a weight loss camp instead, where she almost cheats on Toby, but she doesn't go through with it. Really proud of her. William stops his chemotherapy and is running out of time, which Randall is not coping well with. And then in a flashback, we see Rebecca announce to Jack that she wants to go on tour with the band and sing. And when Jack finds out that she used to date a member of the band, he and Rebecca fight, and Jack has his first drink in years. Opening night of Kevin's play, Randall has a nervous breakdown. Kevin ditches the play to run to Randall and comfort his brother. When Randall is discharged from the hospital, he goes on a road trip with William to his hometown of Memphis. There, William is admitted to the hospital and dies, but not before having a final goodbye with his son, in which Randall comforts him as he passes, as Jack did him. Afterwards, Randall finally forgives Rebecca, then quits his job. Kevin's play opens, Ron Howard sees it, and offers him a role in a new movie. Kate finally tries to tell Toby about Jack's death, revealing that she blames herself. In a flashback, we see Rebecca has left to go on tour with the band. Young Kate tells her dad to drive up to see Rebecca sing, not knowing Jack has been drinking. He dies in a fiery car crash. Just kidding. Now, he makes it to the show, gets more loaded, and punches Ben in the face. Rebecca then drives them home safely, where the mother of all mom and dad fights ensues. And after a night in the doghouse sleeping on the couch, Rebecca says to Jack, "You should sleep at Miguel's for a while." Before walking out the door, he gives a classic Jack Pearson speech about his commitment to their love, which is just the beginning. Present day, Kate and Toby return to LA, and Kate decides she wants to have a singing career. And Randall tells Beth he wants to adopt a baby. Season 2. How we doing on time? Okay, fast forward a bit to the Big Three's 37th birthday. Randall and Beth are looking to adopt. Kevin's working on the Ron Howard movie starring alongside Sylvester Stallone. Kate is starting to audition for singing gigs. Now, in the past, Jack admits his alcoholism has gotten out of hand, and he starts going to AA after hitting the boxing bag a few times. Then, we're shown the aftermath of a brutal house fire that consumes the Pearson house. Kate visits Kevin on set, and she and Stallone try to talk to Kevin about the grief surrounding Jack's death, but he won't do it. Kate calls him out for not dealing with it, and they argue. Kevin then injures his knee on set, having to have surgery and is prescribed painkillers. Meanwhile, Randall and Beth's new foster child, 12-year-old Deja, shows up. Her mother, Shauna, has just been placed in jail. Randall almost fights the father of a girl who insults Deja's hair at a bowling alley, and later, Beth and Deja bond over Beth doing her hair. Spoiler alert. Kate tells Toby she's getting in shape for a singing gig, but is really visiting an OBGYN for an ultrasound, revealing she is pregnant. She eventually tells Toby, but while he's excited, Kate is really concerned about her age and size. Meanwhile, Kevin's already run out of refills on his painkillers, and he starts drinking heavily to the point where he misses Sophie's event, where he was supposed to be auctioned off for charity. Not good. In a flashback to Jack's childhood, we learn that he has a brother who was in Vietnam with him. We don't know much about Nikki yet. Feels alarmed. Present day. Randall takes Deja to see her mom in prison, but the social worker, Linda, tells them her mom opted out of seeing him. Randall is pissed and later confronts Shauna. He learns that she opted out because she was badly beaten and didn't want Deja to see her face. But she ends up calling her daughter that night. After a weird dream about what their future might look like, Kevin breaks up with Sophie. He then returns to his high school to give a speech and receive an award where he hallucinates seeing Jack as well. He drinks too much, goes to the football field where he reenacts all the ups and downs of his entire life, and in a flashback, we see how his promising football career ended with a knee injury. Present day, Kevin goes home with Charlotte, an old classmate, and they have sex. He ends up stealing a prescription pad because she is Dr. Charlotte, so he can score more pills at the pharmacy, but he realizes he left his dad's necklace at her place. He rushes back. She refuses to give it to him. Kevin has a breakdown on her lawn and goes to Randall for help, but before he can say anything, tissue alert, Randall tells him Kate lost the baby. She and Toby are devastated. Now, Rebecca tells Kate about her experience losing Kyle to help Kate feel better, and Toby and Kate decide to try again for another baby. When Shauna gets out of jail, Linda tells Randall and Beth she's recommending Deja go back to her mom. Beth and Randall are angry, but decide they can foster another child, possibly this adorable little black boy. More on this kid later. Now, Kevin hits rock bottom, gets pulled over for a DUI, while Tess, Randall's daughter, is in the back seat. Yep, rehab time. The whole family goes to visit him there, and they have a family therapy session. And what happens? Kevin opens up about feeling like the odd one out in the family and how his mom favored Randall. Rebecca breaks down and says she loved Randall more because he was easier and didn't abandon her after Jack died. All three kids see their childhood from a different perspective. But soon, they all reconcile because, come on, they're the Pearsons. Randall buys the old apartment building William lived in so that he can fix it up for the current tenants, who William loved. Fresh out of rehab, Kevin moves in with Rebecca and Miguel for a bit, and he finally comes to terms with Miguel marrying his mom. In a flashback where Jack takes the kids to the mall, he forgets to pick up batteries for the smoke alarms. That should send out alarms. Kevin helps Randall, Beth, and the tenants fix up William's old building. In a flashback to the 1997 Super Bowl, Jack is extremely disappointed when none of the teenage Big Three are around to watch the big game with him. And later that night, after cleaning up the kitchen like a good man, we see the slow cooker that Jack left plugged in spark and start a fire. Yep, this is what you've been waiting for. The slow cooker killed Jack. Kind of, not really. Might have been George. We're never going to say. But Jack barely gets his family out of a burning fire. He goes back in to get Kate's dog, and just when you think he's not going to come back out, he does. Tissue alert. But Jack dies hours later, suffering cardiac arrest from the strain the smoke inhalation put on his heart. I'm not crying, you're crying. This episode flashes forward to the future where Tess, Randall's daughter, the one who was in the backseat during Uncle Kevin's DUI, is working as a social worker, placing children in good homes, including the cute little black boy we saw earlier. So now the show's flashing to the future. You still with me? Good. On a positive note, Charlotte sends Kevin Jack's necklace back. And right back to the sad stuff. We see Jack's funeral and the kids scattering ashes by his favorite tree. Dr. K is at the funeral and tells Rebecca she's going to be okay and that she can do it without Jack. Now, back in the present day, the gang heads to Sin City for Toby and Kate's bachelor/bachelorette weekend. Randall doesn't want to be there because he's worried about Deja, and Kevin runs into an actor friend who tells him Ron Howard cut him from the movie. Kevin soon learns that Ron Howard did not cut him out of the movie and that he should probably buy a tux. Randall and Beth discover Deja and Shauna are living out of a car. They take them back to their house, but Randall kicks Shauna out, telling her Deja is staying. Shauna later terminates her parental rights, which hurts and angers Deja. Toby and Kate's wedding day comes, and they're having it at the cabin. We finally meet Toby's parents, who urge him not to marry Kate. Deja's there and still angry, but Beth's cousin Zoe shows up and tells her to stop hating the ones who love her. Later, Deja smashes Randall's car with a baseball bat when Toby's mom tells her that she looks like her father. When Toby forgets Jack's Daytona shirt for Kate's something old, she scrambles to find something to represent Jack at the ceremony. Crying alert, get a tissue. In the end, she talks to Jack, telling him that she might have to let him go to make room for Toby, and she spreads the remainder of Jack's ashes. She returns to the cabin, and she and Toby are married. But then, we get some flash forwards in time and see Toby's bedridden and depressed. Kevin and Zoe romantically involved, traveling to Vietnam together. Jack backstory. And Randall, far in the future, talking with an adult Tess, saying it's time to go see her. Who? Her who? Who is that? What does that mean? Well, we have to wait and find out in Season 3. How'd we do?